the way from Nashville, Tennessee, Stephen Krempl!
Tonight's gonna be
All right. Good afternoon. How many of you here work in an organization? In an organization, yes, a private organization. How many of you here work in government? Government. We got a couple of people who get government in the back. How many of you are consulting? Consulting to other people, right? How many of you not sure what you're doing? Okay, I'm watching you, right? Okay. If you can, please make sure you're sitting next to somebody, because at some point you're going to be sharing some stuff with somebody. So if you go at least in the front or the back or whatever, just move closer to somebody. Just make sure you have somebody. You all feel okay? Right, very good. Alex was a brilliant software engineer. He developed tools to enhance productivity and make life and work simpler for all his clients. And then his own organization started using his own tools, and he had a lot more time on his hands. So Alex, the software engineer, suddenly decided to venture into space in the screen that he's been staring at for the last many years. And then as he wanders out into the workspace, he realizes his communication skills were a little bit rusty. Especially today, when he was in the elevator and his CEO was next to him. And he did not know what to say at all. How many of you know a couple of Alexes in your organization? Yeah? Technically brilliant, communicatively inept. All right? However, today I want to come down. We've been talking a lot of things on strategy, all the way how to create a culture. And now I want to focus on yourselves. I don't care which part of the organization you are in, whether you're the top, middle, or anywhere. I want you to think about, as I go through stuff here, about yourself. Are you following along with me? Yes? Okay, are we ready to do that? So, very good. So, my name is Stephen Krempl. I come from Nashville, Tennessee. I'm born and raised in Singapore, and I've been living in the US for the last 24 years. All right? Krempl is not necessarily a Singaporean name. My father's Hungarian, and my mother's Malaysian. I'm a mutt. In Singapore, there used to be three main, ethnic cultures, right? The Chinese, the Malay, Indians, and then they had 2% others. I'm another. Very proud of it, too. Okay, so why are we in the paradigm shift to foster new communication skills to have this brave new world that's in front of us? Why is it important? Because, again, this is my background. I did work for 4 Fortune 500 companies in my career. Motorola, way back when. Maybe some of you remember carrying the brick next to your ears, right? For those of us. And then I went to Pepsi, as in the drink company. We all drink Coke here in South Africa, so we don't worry about those guys. And then I worked for Yum Brands, which is KFC, Pizza, Taco Bell. I'm sure you have plenty of KFCs and Pizza Huts over here. And my last corporation was Starbucks Corporation. How many of you have at least had one Starbucks drink in your life, though? Okay? Very expensive, not worth it, but you still go back and buy it, right? Okay, don't worry about it. So here's the point. How can an introverted Singaporean become the chief learning officer at Starbucks and Yum Brands? If I remain my normal introverted self, I would have died long ago, though. Are you following along with me, though? Right? Now, here's the problem, though. Am I like this all the time? No. If I was like this all the time, my wife would kick me. And my children would definitely not recognize me, though. Because Dad sits at home and watches TV, though. Don't talk to me. I've talked the whole day already. Are you following along with me? Now, is this I'm going to come to it later on, but I'm going to give you a clue right now. Many people will say, well, Stephen, that's not being very authentic. See, I'm 100% the same all the time. No, you're not. Let me give you a clue. When you're in the office, all of you act one particular way, right? Yeah, you have this role, you're the leader, you're a supervisor, you're a manager, you're whatever your title is. When you go drinking or a meal with your old college or university buddies to relive the good old times, are you the same? No. How many of you here are married? Married, please put the hands up. Very good. Okay, when you go to your mother-in-law's house, do you act the same way as you do with your friends when you're drinking and living a really good old time? You're on your best behavior. When you go to the game, like we watched on Saturday, when the team scores a try or anything, you guys go berserk. I've never seen so many berserk people on Saturday in my life. It was amazing. And if you are a person of worship and you go to that place of worship, I guarantee you, you all act differently. Though. See, my ladies and gentlemen, all of you are actors. Not so loud, please. You don't have to laugh that loud. No, you're playing your role. Though. Your first role, you're a leader in an organization. Your second role, you're a friend. Your third role, you're a son or daughter-in-law. Your fourth role, you're a fan. And your fifth role, you're a follower of some worship. We act differently based on our roles, though. Are you following along with me, though? Here's the point I want you to think about. What role does your senior management or your customers or your clients expect of you at your next level, though? Well, Stephen, you see, I'm very authentic. I act the same all the time, though. Hopefully, your authenticity is the appropriate behavior they are expecting, though. If it is, hallelujah. If it's not, hallelujah. Just a slight difference, though. Okay? So please be aware. I'm going to carry on. There's actually actual content in this program here, right? So I've written a couple of books. The 10th book is called Expert Resilience, right here. And it actually became Wall Street #1, I think last month or something, with a couple of other authors, all right? I wasn't the only author. I'm not claiming total credit, but I do have a chapter in here which I'm going to be talking about, though. So, is the world of work as we know it changing? I'm assuming you're going to say yes. So let me put a few things here on the flip chart and see how well you know these technologies. Number one, IoT, Internet of Things. AI, everybody thinks they know AI, right? Machine learning, deep learning, what should we have? Big data, holy moly, okay? VR, AR, virtual reality, augmented reality, what else do we have? Robotics, and blockchain. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm sure there's plenty more. Just tell your person sitting next to you, how many of these do you know intimately? Four, 3, 2, 1. We all can espouse the names. But all of these are impacting you and the jobs going forward, though. So let me ask you these 3 questions. I will come to you and read the questions from your position here. So let me see. Question number 1. If all these things are helping you in your work, most of you would have maybe a little bit more time, right? Do you agree you might have a little bit more time to interact with each other if all these things doing all the mundane work? Yes or no? Hello, yes or no? Yes. Okay, very good. Second question. Now, might communicating effectively become more important because you have more time to interact with people? Yes or no? Though? Not everybody said yes. So yes or no, though? Thank you. Third one, though. Will the ones who get good at communicating have an edge over the others, though? Yes or no, though? And that point, though, I know many of you, we all speak English. We all are pretty good. But is that enough going forward? Because everybody else will be compared against you, though. Are you following along with me, though? Now remember, right, I said, I want you to think of two people, though. I don't care who they are. They can be two biggest customers or potential customers or two senior executives in your company, though. Just write that down or have a mental note, right? As I go on, carry on now, I want you to think of how you appear to those two people. Though. Are you following along with me, though? Okay, very good. Next, Jim Collins wrote the book Good to Great many decades ago. I'm just going to use the same concept to reinforce this point I just made. He studied 15 companies over a 15-year period, and then something happened in the organization, and they all had great results, though. Anybody even faintly remember what happened in this inflection point that made the good company suddenly a great company, though? Man, decision. Decision. Unbelievable. I don't know how you knew that. They made a decision they wanted to be great, though. Now, we don't have all the time to go into all the company examples, but I want to ask you this question, though. Do you want to be seen as a good employee or consultant or government official, or do you want to be seen as a great one? Tell your partner that's sitting next to you, do you want to see him as good or great, though? Because here's the problem. If you're not good or great, worse off, you're going to be thought of as ordinary because there are many other people in your position at that same level or doing the same work you're doing. Are you following along with me? I don't care whether you're a programmer or you're somebody servicing somebody in the front line to the customer. You're either good, great, or ordinary, though. I'm hoping all of you want to be great, because if you want to be great, then you need to do a few more things differently, right, than did. Because nowadays, just being good isn't good enough, though. So let me give you an example, though. A client of mine asked me, he says, Stephen, can you come in? I have 6 direct reports, and I want you to see if you can help them. All right, no problem. I go in the conference room. He says, HR is here with me. I have an Excel sheet. He puts an Excel sheet up on the screen. I ranked all of the 6 in order, number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Here's what they're not good at. Here's what they're good at. When they go to the QBR, here's their problems, quarterly business review, to his bosses. They do not make him look good, though. I want you to go and help them, and if you can help them, then it helps me look good, though. But I have a very interesting philosophy. You can talk to each one of them, and the ones that want your help, you help them. And those who don't need your help, no problem, they're probably pretty busy. Correct? 3 out of the 6 wanted my help, though. Number 1, number 2, and number 3. Number 4, number 5, and number 6, who needed it the most, said, now, Stephen, I'm pretty good already. It's all right. I don't need it. Rule number 1. If your boss asks you to talk to somebody about something, just talk to them and take it whether you think you need it or not. Do you know how idiotic those 4, 5, and 6 look to the boss when actually they need it the most? Number 1, 2, and 3, who are already good, or in at least one of them, they're already great, know that they just need one small thing extra so that they can get to the next level. Are you following along with me? So even for today, if you take from the morning, there's so many things that you have learned, right? But there may be one that strikes a chord because it's your situation in your organization, though, right? So even for my presentation later, okay, you're going to do that. So why is there a need to communicate with impact and be visible? Why is there a need to communicate with impact and be visible? Anybody? I guarantee you, if you put up your hand, you'll be rewarded. Anybody brave enough here? Say again? That's how you get noticed. And because you open your mouth, you get the 5% book. Wow, visibility strategy. Oh, it's my book. Thank you. All right, good. Round of applause, though. Not only is not how do you get noticed, because here are the two things I want you to think about, though. Right? If you are not visible, you are invisible. How many of you are visible enough to those two people you wrote down just now? Okay? And if you are not memorable, you are forgettable. Tell your partner how memorable and how visible are you to those two people. You don't have to mention their names. Just tell them how visible and memorable you are. You think you are. Never mind, I haven't asked them yet. But how visible and memorable you think you are to those two people. Don't look at me. 4, 3, 2, 1. So here's the first concept that I want you to understand. Only two numbers here, 95 and 5. 95% of the time, please be who you are. I can't change you, you can't really change, so let's don't pretend. However, 5% of the time, you need to be able to switch to your 5% zone. How you act in your 5% is very different than how you act in your 95%. Well, Stephen, that's not being very authentic because I'm 100% the same all the time. No, I prove to you you're not, though. The 5% is defined with when you are in front of an audience that's very important to you. In the organization, it might be people 2 levels above or higher in the organization. How you communicate with those people is very different than how you communicate with your team and or your subordinates. When you communicate with your team and subordinates, you probably have a little bit more time than when you go further up. Are y'all following along with me? Right? So a 2-hour discussion is very different than a 10-minute briefing to your boss's boss, or worse still, your boss's boss's boss. I've been in meetings where, the boss's boss comes in and says, can you get to the point, please? They cut right in because they don't have a lot of time to waste. So, are you following along with me? Though? So think about it, though. Your last 2 interactions with those 2 people, were you very chatty and verbose? Or were you straight to the point and got right to it? There's no right or wrong, ladies and gentlemen, right? I just want you to think about it because this is you, though. This is how people view you from their point of view, though. You may have a lot of stuff to tell them. They may not want to hear everything you want to tell them. So you have to realize that, right? So very good. And it's important because you have to realize that your role, what is your role expectation from them of you, though, at your next level? Okay? So it's very, very important to kind of think about this. And here's where I have a problem sometimes. I was talking on a group coaching session virtually, and one of the guys, very senior engineer, he goes at it, damn, Stephen, everybody told me to be myself, though. So I am myself in my 5%, and I shot myself in my left foot, my right foot, and my head, though, because I tell it like it is. Here's a tough message. I'm going to tell him. You're dead! Because that's the only time they see you, twice in a year, and both times you're negative, though. The other 95%, you're probably not that negative anyway, though. But you thought you were fighting for your team, and you had to deliver the tough message, but you delivered it a little too negatively. In one of the other books, I've said this message, though. Any message that is negative can be reworded either neutrally or more positively, though. But some of you don't believe that. You go, no, Stephen, it's a tough message. I'm going to tell it like it is. I don't know why the strategy is so stupid. I've been here for 15 years, and nobody's come up with this stupider strategy than this one. Let's go neutral. Wow, Stephen, strategy seems to need some work. What happened to the stupid? No, it just needs a little work. I think it would work a lot better. Come over to the side. Stephen, how do we get everybody behind your new strategy? Most of us don't think enough of the words and your intention, though. If my intention to tell it like it is, guess what? I'll find the words to tell it like it is. If my intention is to be neutral, i.e. not avoid the issue, but don't sound so negative, I'll find the words, though. Are you following along with me? All right? So just think about that, okay? First rule. Next, the 95% situations are important. The 5% are critical, though. So now, I don't care what you do with your team and everybody else. I care, but I really don't care, right? It's how you look in front of the people that matter, though. And many of the times, you don't see them very often, though, unless you're very high up in the organization, right? Then your 5% maybe becomes 20%. So how do you appear? So I was in a conference in LA, and halfway through, and it wasn't on this topic, it was positively negative, right? And the lady said to me, Stephen, halfway through your talk, I text my, or SMS here, my manager and said, I'm so sorry, I've been complaining for the last 3 months, please, and then he sent back, said, I totally understand, thank you for even letting me know. Do you get it, though, right? Because it's just like this one lady that used to work for me, right? I won't mention the names, I'll change the name to protect the innocent. She only comes to my office when to complain. So guess what? I see her walking to my door. I'm going, oh my God, I've lost half an hour. Is she negative all the time? She is not. Everybody on the team loves her, though. She forgets that the only time she comes to me is when she's negative, though. Are you thinking about it, though? So now think about you, yourself, your boss's boss. Let's don't go any higher, though. Your boss's boss, though, right? When you appear to him or her, are you complaining or are you providing suggestions and solutions to solve the issues? We are not doing this, Stephen. We don't have enough budget, no head count. So what do you want me to do? That's what I hired you for. Do you see that, right? You can either be the whiner or you can say, Stephen, we have a few issues we need to deal with. I got 2 suggestions. Which one would you prefer, though? At least I'm seeing that you're providing some value. Are you following along with me? Please start thinking about those 2 people you wrote down, though. How do you appear in front of them when you met them the last 3 times, though? I have no idea. So let's do it. The problem is this word here is authenticity. Look, ladies and gentlemen, I'm a practical guy. Please be authentic within your role. You're not 100% whatever all the time. What does senior management expect of you? You have played a role. Your friends expect something different. It would be like me going to my 1-year-old grandson, right, and say, Lee, all this stuff around the floor, it's not very good. So Grandpa's going to come in and do every check-in every week and make sure that your KPI is to keep all the food off the floor, right? And by the way, I want you to do a report to your mom because I'm going to check on her. Hey, baby Lee, how you doing? Like all the food? Thank goodness mom's coming up to clean it. Bye. Boom. Are you following along with me, though? We think it's funny, but you know how many times I've been at succession planning meetings when the name comes up of somebody and the leader goes like this, John Smith. Was he the one that complained all the time in the town hall? They even remember your complaining question that you heavily disguised as a question, but you were actually questioning. You know the difference between a question and being questioning? If you don't, never mind, that's another class, though. I can't save you already, right? Okay, so are you the same in these environments, though? Work, home and socially? I don't think so, right? At work, you may be different. Socially, you're different. So I want you to think. We're going to go through one by one for you to think through. Think about those two people. Next, first, at work, how are you when you interact with different groups? Your boss, your peers, and your subordinates. So, are you the same or are you different? How about senior management? How about customers? How about at industry events like this? Maybe locally, regionally, or globally, though. I have no idea, though. But you better have something that is more effective in each of these different ones and is not being inauthentic, is being respectful to the audience you're in front of, though. Are you following along with me, though? Just like when you're in front of your mother-in-law. It's called respect. I don't have to spell the word out. That's a song. R-E-S-P-E-C-T. No. So next, how about at home, though? You play different roles at home, in fact, right? You go home. You may be head of the household. You may be spouse, your children, your siblings, your parents, your in-laws, your extended families, and your friends. You're totally different. You know, I have a very interesting situation. My brother is 15 years my senior, and my sister is 10 years my senior. So when I was growing up as an early teen, I thought, you know, these older people, my brother, 15 years my senior, every morning I would go to the breakfast table and say, good morning, and he would respond, I was like, is that even a word, though? I never saw a smile out of his face for 15 years, though. I thought that was the way older brothers had interact. So then one day, my sister-in-law takes me to his office. As we're walking in this big office, I see a group of the people right at the end of the hall, laughing and smiling. And then when we went closer, hey, this person looks very familiar. He has a smile on his face, though. It is my brother. Totally different animal at work, though. Are you following along with me, though? You're laughing too much, sir. Have you had too much to drink? All right? Again, sounds so simple, right? But simple isn't easy, though. Work socially. You are now part of an association. You have a membership group. You're at weddings, birthdays, anniversaries, concert, movie, game. We act differently, ladies and gentlemen. So the point becomes, what is most impactful for you in your career or when you deal with people? Because people are always watching you and guiding you. So now I'm going to give you a couple of factors that you can measure yourself against. Because somebody asked about measurement just now, so I decided to add a few slides, though. Don't blame me, though, okay? So are you authentically different? Are you the same or different at work, home, and socially, though? I think probably different, okay? Next one, are you okay with the way you behave in all those roles, though? Some people feel, well, you know, I really hate small talk, but when I go to these socials, I really don't like to do that. Well, I don't like to do that, too. But your role may require you to do it, though. See, it's nothing to do with whether you like it or not. If it's a 5% role and you have to go and do small talk with senior management, you do small talk, though. In a normal 95% social, I'm hiding in the corner, though, with my best buddy with a glass of wine, and I'll tell him, hey, Miles, you go out first and I'll follow you, okay? We're out of that. Are you following along with me, though? All right? So think about that. With those two people, do you bravely go up to them and engage them in a conversation, or are you hiding in the back of a room somewhere? Had a gentleman who was a British bank. We won't mention the names of the bank, but he had a perfect Oxford English. Outside the meeting, he's the chattiest person alive, though. Well, Stephen, let me tell you about this and blah, 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 blah. Goes in, the boss's boss comes in, he shuts down, though. Not a peep from him in a meeting, though. And I go, Trevor, what the hell happened to you? I have no idea, man. Every time the boss's boss comes in, I shut down. Are you following along with me? Now, what does the boss's boss see? A quiet Trevor who can't speak up, though. Are you following along with me, though? Okay? So now, here's the question here, all right? Are you being inauthentic if you act differently in those roles? Tell your partner whether you think, because some people go, well, I don't think that's very. Just tell your partner, do you think it's inauthentic to be different in your different roles? Especially with senior management or your steers or your staff. How much time do I have left? All right, so here you go. How about the 5% situation? So here are the things that you need to be authentically different about. Okay, so let me just go. Because given your culture of the organization, and sometimes the rules of the game is different in different organizations. You following along with me? Some organizations, they want you to speak up. Some, the bosses want to speak and you shut up. I'm very democratic. I know that exists. Okay, so you do the appropriate thing in the culture you come from. And if you need to bring something up, if it's a 5%, you might want to choose neutral as opposed to negative. Though. It doesn't mean you don't bring up the issue, but remember, when you leave the room, that's what they remember of you. Here's what happens always. Though. Let's say Miles, I can call it him. Say Miles comes in, delivers a tough message to the senior management. And here's what I tell him. Miles, great job. We need more people like you in our organization. You tell it like it is. Miles smiles. He leaves the room. Then I turn to her. I go, is he always such a stick in the mud? What did Miles hear, though? Great job, though. I'm not saying your organization is like that, but I've seen too many of these, so you better be careful, though. All right? So here are a couple of things that you need to watch out for because it's called the authenticity trap. So here, for yourself, okay? What others notice when you speak up, are you usually quiet, sometimes or all the time? Your intention, your energy, your style, messages, or act. So I'm going to give you the next page. Just tell your partner, just give a very quick, what number are you, though? You speak up. Are you usually quiet? One. You are number 10, though. And just go down that very quickly. Just tell your partner. You can take a picture. Though. Add your 5%. Choose the 5, because 95 you may be very different too, right? Four, three, two, one. Ladies and gentlemen, we don't have the whole day here, but you get a sense, right? You're either closer to 1 or closer to 10. No right or wrong. I'm telling you, especially with those two people, hopefully you need to be increasing those numbers and think whatever is appropriate in your organization, all right? So communication agility is something you need to get good at. And here's just one of our communication agility wheels. Though. So I'm not going to describe the whole thing. You can take a picture real quick. I'll even get out of the way. If you want to take a picture with me here, I'm standing here. Hey, take the picture. Here, thank you. Look, all the green is a little bit more, right? Are you clear or you're long-winded? Are you concise or are you vague? Are you structured or you're disorganized? Are you positive or are you negative? Are you engaging or are you boring? Are you energetic? You have no energy. And are you strategic or you're down in the weeds? Though? Same chart for you. Okay, I'm not even going to go there. How do you communicate in your 5% situation? Please tell your partner. You have a very short time. Though. You can take a picture. Though. Holy moly. 4, 3, 2, 1. Hopefully you've got a sense now in terms of those two people. I know sometimes we act differently. You probably do act differently in a 95 and you're 5. However, the 5% is the one that determine if you keep moving up the organization or not. You can have really good relationship and working relationship with your boss. But if your boss's boss doesn't see it, I don't care. I've tried to fight sometimes with some of my people, with my bosses, and they go, I don't think she's ready. I'm going, no, she's really ready though. And if you are not helping your boss to fight for you, then you may be shortchanging yourselves. Are you following along with me? Right? Okay, so hopefully I've given you a couple of tools you can use. Anyway, you get access to all the slides, right? Many of you have taken the pictures. Here are the 5 situations that your senior leaders see or hear you. That's it. The one-on-one, the team meeting, which is either the small functional team meeting or the large town halls or all hands, the conference call, business presentation, and the company social. That's it. They don't know if you came in at 7:30 in the morning, and they don't know if you left at 9:30 that night. When your name comes up, they go, boom, how was she at the one-on-one, the last one-on-one I had with her? How was she at the meeting? Was she quiet or was she talking all the time? Now, ladies and gentlemen, there are 2 problems, you know, right? Person who does not say anything, correct? And then this person who talks too much, though. This is a problem. This is also a problem, though. This one, nobody knows who they are. This one, they put their hand up and everybody goes, oh my God, here he goes again. Do you know some people? Don't put up your hands too high. I hope you've realized where you are on the spectrum. You can't be on either end, though, okay? Especially for those 2 people. So here's what you're gonna get if you're interested in. We have an app that you can get the book that I gave you, right, for free as a PDF copy, right? And there are a couple of tools that we give you. Question banks, set up statement banks, the tools that we teach our people how to communicate more effectively. What's the time exactly now? 23. So it's 2:23, right? 2:23, all right? If you download this in the next 2 minutes, I will call back my guys in the tech group to upgrade you to premium, though. Premium is $19.95 US. If you want to pay it, up to you. I'm telling you, if you download it in the next 2 minutes, which is here's your app, iOS or Android, you get additional stuff from the conference, and so you can take away with to communicate more effectively in your organization. So. Yeah, it's winning in the work world. So if you cannot get it through the QR code, whichever store you are in, just type winning in there and it'll pop up W3, right? Okay, got it, everybody? So thank you very much, and I hand the time back to Miles.
Thank you. Thanks, Stephen. That was our secret weapon after lunch. Definitely got everybody energized. So again, yeah, thanks so much, Stephen, for doing it again with us and really energizing the whole group. We really enjoyed it. Yeah, and so we'll move on if you don't mind, and just again, you know, you've got all of the questions, all of the contacts for everybody, and if you've got any questions for Stephen, and thank you so much for the kind upgrade. Hopefully you all got that. All right, we're going to move on now to Rensha. Rensha Mule I've known for a long time. Really developed some brilliant solutions, particularly in things like strategic integration, in lean portfolio management, and sort of the CEO and the thinker behind Signtrix, which is an amazing software solution. If any of you ever have any opportunity to have a look at that, I'd really suggest it. So over to you, Rensha. Thanks very much for joining us.